indeed proud to introduce my two granddaughters that will be doing a tribute, a poetic tribute. And they write all this information themselves without any help from any adults, because we probably mess it up, right? At any rate, first on the program will be Veronica Raylyn Rose Clay.
Hi, I just wanted to thank you for the opportunity for me to be able to be here. And I wanted to personally thank you, without poetry, for all that you guys have done for us. Like our second president said, John Adams, he said, I study politics and war so that my children can study mathematics and architecture, so that their children can study poetry and study pottery and study the arts. And so I personally thank you guys for your service. You've allowed me to be able to write, and I love writing, and I don't have to go into war. I'm able to be free and have fun, so thank you. American freedom. What is the first thing that comes to mind when attempting to describe this attribute? Is it red, white, and blue? Is it camouflage and badges, or maybe the lack of receiving lashes? What feelings come to mind? Happiness? Patriotism, thankfulness. But for many Americans, I imagine that the feelings of appreciation aren't always long-lasting. Why? Maybe because we are like fish in water, swimming in this free atmosphere that hardly ever alters. It's hard to imagine slavery when freedom's all we've known, or bondage when grace is all we've ever been shown. We can become so self-absorbed, living in our own little world, that we forget that we are blessed, living in a land of providence when there are others so much less. We have the divine rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Our lives aren't perfect, but compared to the third world, they're slightly fabulous. But the most important quality of American freedom is the opportunity to pursue true freedom. Now, some of you may be thinking, if I'm free, why would I need more freedom? What else could I possibly be seeking? How many of you, though free, have ever felt chained? Depression arising at the rise of another day, or anxiety screaming in your face? Have you ever felt incomplete, not fully free, though technically not enslaved? I have. You see, we need more. The original reason for the establishment of the American kingdom was for the receiving of religious freedom. The reason we left Spain, France, and England was because we could not stay. We longed for a land to worship God in our own way. Freedom. It comes in two parts: freedom of the body and freedom of the heart. Physical freedom we have thoroughly achieved, though spiritual freedom some of us have yet to receive. How many of you long for a life where peace is regular and joy is common, where comfort and love flow freely like a fountain? How many long for scars to be erased, your biggest fears to be faced and defeated? Because victory is on your side no matter where you go, and hope is in your heart even when you've reached the lowest of lows. A life where protection is offered without using Allstate, and guidance is given through the knots in your life's maze. A life that isn't yet perfect, but only improving, true perfection ensuing, meaning it's coming. A day when no tears will fall from our faces, and there will be no pain in our hearts. A day when the grave is no longer tasted, and sorrow will no longer tear us apart. A day of true and entire victory. For some of you, I'm pulling on your heartstrings and with words creating a symphony as you imagine this life painted beautifully. What if I told you this was true for me, and that this masterpiece is how life is supposed to be? Jesus Christ gave his life to set us free. He loved us so much he was willing to be crucified, but death lost the 3-day match and watched Christ rise. And he didn't just do it for all humanity, he did it for you and for me personally, so that everyone who would believe would be able to receive eternal life. American freedom. It's what millions have died for, the opportunity to seek him and to live in God's heavenly kingdom. But it's not just for then, it's for now. It's for kids to be able to play in their backyards safe and sound. It's for children to run on sidewalks and chase fireflies instead of having to be filled with fear and hide. You stepped out of your houses with uncertainty of returning to your children and wives. To ensure the security of American rights, you risked your lives to protect ours. And whether you were drafted and enlisted, or you readily consented, you risked your lives, making a selfless sacrifice, and we are indebted. We honor this sacrifice, and may we never forget it. So from the Army, the Navy, the Marine Corps, to the Coast Guard and the Air Force, I personally thank you for your service. And I pray that God will bless you and America, the land of the free and the home of the brave.